clearing the mind of all thoughts. This is a meditation that you can partake of solely for the rest of your life, morning and evening, and it will change you. Now, I don't want to bang on about it all the time, but just go and look at one of my old videos if you want the proof. But of course, a work in progress. We all make mistakes. We all revert back to old ways in moments, but gradually we gain ground. And why is this meditation, the emptying of the mind, so powerful? Because in the the spiritual circles, the occult world, the world of meditation, there is this concept of nothing, that everything came from nothing. This primal consciousness that somehow doesn't exist and gives birth to everything. Of course, if you were to think on that, you'd be missing the point, because it just is. In fact, I don't know if you can see it in this light. I'll get a candle, hold it up. Someone said to me once, when I was asking how to best execute this exercise, they said, just do it. So every time you see the Nike logo, you can be inspired there. Just do it. Just do it. Just simply be. If you're used to sitting in a meditative posture, you've already developed an autocorrect. In other words, you don't have to think about when you slump a little bit, coming back up, perhaps just lifting the chin slightly. If you feel yourself going to the side, just correcting. This happens on autopilot. You're relying on autopilot for your body to just do what's required. So, thinking about nothing. No, that's not what you do. Don't sit there with your eyes closed, imagining the primal nothingness, the universe absent of all matter, whatever. Don't think about it. Don't think about anything. Now, I do have a video called Infinite Dreams where I go into this subject quite deeply. I have likened the state of non-thought to drowning. And it's interesting because the air element would be associated with thinking. I think there's a link there. It's really uncomfortable not to think, because it's automatic, just like the posture correction is automatic. Thinking is automatic. You don't have to say, right, I'm going to think, you can choose a subject to think about, but if you don't choose a subject to think about, the mind will just think. It will just evaluate. Even when you remove that inner conversation, there will be awareness, evaluation, and memories will play. Just the general vibe of where you're sitting, the fact that you know what you've entered into, I would say that that's forgivable to begin with. So you would make a gesture, a statement of what you're about to do. That always helps. That's what I was taught to do. Take up your beads or set the timer. Implement the posture. Maybe some candles. Obviously, I wouldn't usually have this light on. Maybe some candles. Whatever makes it comfortable. Incense, whatever. Doesn't really matter. You should be able to do it on a busy street. I mean, we wouldn't want to get too extreme, but you should be able to do this in a room where everyone's standing around talking. It should be that strong. Eventually. It's not going to be automatic most days. It might take a few minutes for it to really click into place. Posture, looking forward, everything as it should be. The intention is somehow hanging in the air. You know where you are. You know what you're about to experience or engender. Just do it. The most uncomfortable thing you can do in a comfortable position. Banish thought. There may be periods of straining the mind, just denying the chatter. Deny. This is not allowed. Keep it forward. Just do it. Eventually, you're training the mind that this is the time this happens. Things will fade. Silence, gradually winning the war in the mind. Notions, feelings, emotions, even too much emphasis on the fact that you may enjoy all this going. You're just existing. You get to the point where you just exist, and then there should be no notion of existence. There is only the act itself. The act, which is a non-act. You might say only the non-action itself of nothingness within the mind, without contemplating the mind. You know, all these things, they're all gone. So as my teacher taught me, you bring the fruits of meditation into your daily life. So what is the benefit of doing this most uncomfortable thing in a comfortable place? Just this travesty. The monkey mind is like, what are you doing? This is literally unthinkable, right? It's what we do. Constant evaluation of status, things we should be doing, things we shouldn't be doing, people, what they said, how I feel about my life, how I feel about this, that, what I'm afraid of, what I'm excited about, what I really like thinking about, what I'm interested in. Then the body itself. How do I feel? Am I hot? Am I cold? Am I anything? Am I horny? Whatever, right? All of these things. You're gradually gaining control. A bit like the, the trenches in World War I, you might say, that slow gaining of territory. Gradually mastering this art, day by day. Non-existence, imperfect posture. Bringing that into daily life without being perfect, of course, but with a greater degree of control over your words, over your actions, over your thoughts. Of course I would say that. You know the tradition that I belong to, right? Make every word, thought and action count. Well, that's not possible until you've partaken of discipline. Now, discipline, constant discipline, every day, all the time, that has its own issues. You know, there's a time to dance, there's a time to eat, there's a time to whatever, right? But there is this time to not be, to not think, to sit in absolute silence, in perfect posture, whatever posture you choose, to be nothing. You might say, that's a primal fear, to be nothing. To train the mind that the consciousness, the primal consciousness, the true essence, that connected with the ultimate nothingness, the source, this is in control. One battle at a time, day until it changes something inside of you. Until, you might say, strange things happen, because they will. Strange things will happen. Most of this will be private, perhaps only shared to some degree with your teacher if you're in that kind of a situation, which I recommend, because we're all a bit useless, right? It takes being a part of a tradition, or it takes having a teacher for most of us to really discipline ourselves. There is the odd exception. I've sort of shot myself in the foot there, because I'm telling you, I'm best off with someone evaluating my progress. Not that I think I couldn't do it myself, but it would take longer. It would take longer. No tradition, no images, no gods, no spirits. No, I'm the cool, edgy dude. None of that crap. And you'll be less interested in being edgy. The trouble is, when you go back into daily life, old ways, they're going to be there, but they're going to have less power. They're going to have less control. Gradually, day by day, inching forward, that connection with nothing. Absolute nothingness. It's not as sexy, is it, when you say it like that? Because it's like we're all interested in the gods and the spirits and the traditions and our own private little religion and all that. That's all really cool and interesting. But if you hold above that, above everything, this absolute nothingness, which can only be, after all, peace. It can only be clarity. It can only be true understanding. But without desire, without complication. Let that infect your religion, your practice, your habits, your interactions, your relationships. Maybe next time someone hurts you, maybe next time you're angry, there'll be a couple of seconds where that nothingness, where that self-control, that will create a better outcome. You'll choose not to react. You'll see the long game, because you'll have the infinite space there, accessible, always there. Trouble is, we're all in bodies, right? This is the problem. This is the problem to be solved. And we've all got a chattering monkey mind to one degree or another. Yes. Not making out. I'm not claiming absolute perfection here or anything like that. I'm just saying this works. If there was one meditative practice, if there was one religious practice, well, if you want to call it that, whatever, if there was only one thing, just one thing that would improve your life and the lives of everyone around you, the thing that would give you clarity, it would allow you greater control over your emotions, your actions, and especially when you're being judged, if someone doesn't understand you, if, it's okay, just, that's fine. Maybe they've got my best intentions at heart. Maybe, whatever. There's no need to react. Immediately, vehemently. There's nothing cool about being a dick. There's a time to sing, a time to dance, a time to listen to raging thrash metal. There's a time to honor the gods. There's a time to make love. There's a time to have a beer, whatever. There's a time for all these things. But if you make that time for the primeval nothingness at the heart of creation and let that change you day to day, slowly, millimeter by millimeter, if you want to put it that way, it will only make you better human being. But what if that's not your goal? What if your goal is to be a more powerful human being? Is to be sexy, is to be cool, or whatever? Well, it's probably going to end in tears. I'm saying we go back to all those things. We go back to all those things. We're going to mess up, whatever. This all going to happen, but there's going to be that extra something, that extra time, that extra space, that extra clarity. After all, it's not nothing usually the best answer to any immediate social or interpersonal problem. How many times in the past have we put our foot right in it? Have we said the wrong thing too quickly? Is not silence the best response to rudeness? Now, of course, I've broken all these rules at various times. I may have even struggled recently, but I'm telling you, I see the difference. I like to think I've demonstrated the difference. But whatever. What this is about is this practice. If there was one practice, if there was one thing that you could do, and if you did this for the rest of your life, just this one practice, it would be an exceptional thing. Somehow the night with low light is, the perfect time to say these kind of things, to make this kind of video. It may sound different in the daylight, on the bus, on the train, or whatever. So I suggest this is best viewed in darkness and silence. And, there's that part of me that creeps in. It's like, who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? These processes, they're always going on. But it's about that silence, that space, that intervention of the void that creates a better outcome every single time. Alrighty,